congrats to Syracuse. They're a good team, and they've gotten better. They're an experienced team. They have veteran guys that have been in hostile environments and have been in big moments, and they stepped up and made some big-time shots in the second half. I thought our defense in the second half was much better than it was in the first half. They're a difficult team to play against and to prepare for because you can't simulate the zone. And I thought in the first half we had some good looks. We missed them with some wide open threes that we didn't make. And I thought our offense hurt our defense a little bit. Again, I thought we played better in the second half, but it's not good enough. And so, congrats to them.
Jeff, did you feel like there were times in the first half, maybe after a few of those shots didn't fall, that you got a little bit hesitant in wanting to shoot, especially from outside?
Yes.
What do you do with a young team? How do you get them back into that mindset that you want them to shoot when they have an open look?
Tell them to shoot. They have to be ready to shoot. We have confidence. They're our shots. So, got to get outside of you.
What did y'all try differently today, Jeff, offensively against their instead of the old do in the first match?
We tried to move the ball a little bit more. Really tried to hit the middle of it, the short corner. Again, I thought we got good looks, especially in the first half. I do think we became hesitant after we missed some. And the thing about them, you have to be ready to shoot because that window is not there that long because of their length and their athleticism and their ability to close out.
Jeff, what was the explanation you got on Trey McGowan's offensive foul?
Didn't get one. Don't understand it. Didn't understand it. Still don't. Not sure I've seen that called in college, ever. And so it's one of the interesting stats to me is that our first 4 games in conference, Xavier Johnson took 33 free throws, Trey McGowan's took 49. In the 4 games prior to today, Xavier's taken 14 and Trey has taken 4. Now, we're still driving, we're still attacking the basket. And the last 4 teams prior to today, and today's team was really good, but the previous 4, at Cuse, Duke, at Louisville, and at Clemson, they're good. But man, I don't think they've mastered defense or mastered verticality. And so that's just an interesting thing to me. And that's been a big part of our offense. It was good to see us get to the line tonight. It was good to see Xavier take 12 free throws. We took 22. That was good to see, but I did not get an explanation on the call. I'm not sure anyone did.
Jeff, what's your theory on that?
I don't know. I don't have one. I'm not allowed to speak publicly about a theory. So I'm not going to.
Can you follow up on that? Call your league office or anything like that?
I have.
You will?
I have.
Oh.
I have. So.
Jeff, you accomplished some good things in the early start of the conference season. You got a couple firsts out of the way with you as the coach. Is the next step here now counter-punching after you've taken a few here the last 4 or 5 games?
No, the next step is for us to get better. Every day is to attempt to get better every day. In some of these losses that we've had, maybe we've gotten better. It was going to be very, very difficult for us to beat Duke. It was going to be very difficult for us to win in Syracuse. Louisville's one of the better teams in the country right now. Look, we're not as talented as a lot of the teams we're playing against. I don't mean that as a negative against my guys. I think one of the better teams in this league the past few years has not been the most talented team, and that's Virginia. I think they're really good. Nationally, I think they're one of the best teams in the country year in and year out under Tony Bennett. But if you look just sheer talent, they don't have that. They don't have elite level talent like Duke, like North Carolina. They don't have a team stack of McDonald's All-Americans. But what he did was that he came in there and he built the culture. And it took some time, but he built a culture. That's what we're trying to do. So it may not equate into wins, and we're not judging ourselves on that. Now, I know that we want to win and we have to win and all those things, and it's really, really important. But I do think we are continuing to get better. And we're going through a lot. We've had to rely a lot on freshmen, and freshmen hit a wall. We have regular freshmen, and they're really good, but they're not Zion. They're not RJ. They're not Bagley or Carter or Tatum or those guys. So they're not like superhuman. And so, when they hit a wall, they hit a wall. We're going through that, and we have to help them get through it, and we are going to help them get through it. And we're going to continue to work every day to get better.
Jeff, how much is adversity the best teacher for you, for these guys to go through this and to maybe see some of the blemishes and easier to point them out when you've lost as opposed to when you win?
No, we point them out anytime. And, adversity is something that you have to go through, especially when you're building, when you're starting from the ground up. And, you go through tough times, and you have to stay together, you have to stay connected, you have to try to stay positive, and that's the last part. All three of them are difficult, and the last one is probably even more difficult, but you have to do it, and you have to continue to work. It's not going to happen just because someone's going to lay down. We have to make it happen, and we have to continue to teach and point out, the things that we need to improve on, and we need to work diligently every day to improve on those things.
Jeff, how hard is it to get those freshmen developed when there's other external factors that you feel are keeping you back, like getting to the line more?
I don't think it's external factors. I don't think that's the reason why we're losing. So I don't think that. I'm just saying it's just odd. We got to the line a lot against North Carolina. We didn't win. At NC State, we didn't win. So I don't think that's it. It's a lot of factors with us. It's a lot of factors, and we have to play better. We have to play better for 40 minutes. It can't be 20. Like in the second half, we defended our butts off. In the first half, we didn't. It's difficult to win against a good team, against anyone in this league, because all the teams are pretty good, but it's difficult to win when you don't do that. We have to do that. I've said from the very beginning, we have to do the little things really, really well, and we have to continue to get better at that.
Jeff, you get any kind of response from the league office, Jeff?
No.
Jeff, what are you seeing in terms of, you mentioned some of the growth and things that you're seeing regardless of win or lose. What are some things you've seen since the last time you played Syracuse in terms of growth from your team and from your players individually?
I think with the exception of the first half against Clemson, probably the first half today, defensively, we've continued to be pretty good. I've seen Terrell Brown. It was great to see him respond the way he did today. Terrell did not play well our last two games, and he didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday because of an illness, because of strep throat. And so he had one day of preparation, and he came out. I thought he had really good energy. I thought he did some good things. I thought Malik Ellison rebounded the ball well and had one of his best games in a while. It was good to see Xavier, get to the line again, to have a positive assist to turnover. That's something that, the last four games prior to this one that he had struggled with is value in the basketball. And so those are some of the things that, I've seen that are positive. At times we played really good offensively. We just have to be able to put that together for 40 minutes.
Jeff, if you did hit the freshman wall when you were playing, what did you do to crash through it?
I was very fortunate. I had great seniors. I had Grant Hill, I had Tony Lane, so I wasn't relied on as much as these guys. I wasn't. If I hit a wall, I still had the best player in the country, who was a senior that had won 2 national championships. You had another guy, Antonio Lang, that was a senior that was a starter on 2 national championship teams. And so there was a reference point of how to get through it. We don't have that. That's the reality, and it's not a knock. That's just the reality. We don't have that. Like, this thing was at ground zero as we're starting, and we're trying to build. And I think all of our guys have gotten better. I don't think it's just the freshmen that have hit the wall. I think all of our guys have hit the wall. And it happens. This time of year is the grind. When you get to late January and you get into February, it's the grind. Everyone's banged up. Everyone's a little, knick-knack injuries and things like that, and everyone's a little bit tired. And you have to be resilient. You have to be mentally tough. You have to be physically tough, and you have to fight through. And if you can be fortunate where you can really be a part of a group that's really together, then you fight through it together and you figure out a way to win. I think we have a group that's together. We have a group that's connected. We just have to continue to chip away and figure out a way to do it.
Jeff, what
do you
made
want to ease Audis back in a little bit tonight with the
He had 1 day
injuries?
of practice yesterday, and so his wind is not where it needs to be.
Trey's been held to single digits 4 out of the last 5 games. Is there something that he needs to do that you can point to and say that this is what he needs to do to get back to his game?
He just needs to play better, period, and he will.
What made Brissett such a tough matchup, both his scoring and his rebounding ability?
He's really good. I think he's, for me, from afar, I've been a fan of his since he was a freshman last year, a big fan of his as a player. He's got really good size, very athletic. He can score. He can do it from the 3, mid-range. He can get to the rim. He's gotten stronger during his time. And then for us, you know, with his size, it's just a tough match. You know, he's that 6'8" guy, that hybrid forward that can play away from the basket and can post and can drive and can do different things. With his length and athleticism and strength, you know, he's on the boards. And we don't have anyone like that. You know, we have bigs, 2, and then we have all guards. And so, you know, we don't have a guy like that. So that's a tough matchup for us.
Thank you.